I'm Sharon Pollard. I'm the director of Award, which is an NGO based in the Lowveld, called the Association for Water and Rural Development. And what we're trying to do is look at new and innovative and creative ways for creating long-term sustainable custodianship, which means really to get local users, be they private landowners or communities or the state, to really take ownership over wetlands and the natural resources so that they maintain them in the long term. So one of the ideas we then had is, well, why don't we run an Indaba where they present what they've been doing. And the purpose of this Indaba is to share with you what we've been doing for 2.5 years. And it'll be their first exposure to going public. There are really 3 of us that are involved in a more kind of permanent way, which is Maki, who you'll see it as part of the Indaba, and then Bibi. The other partners have been the Mondi Wetlands Program. They've been incredibly encouraging and supportive, and then obviously working for Wetlands themselves, which is based at Sandby. One of the key aspects has been handing the research process over to these community researchers and monitors, also known as CRMs.
There's a lot more to rehabilitation than just doing the construction.
This is your wetland. If there's going to be a research on the wetland, then you need to undertake that research, and you need to set the research questions that you have.
We have a list of questions which we use to ask them.
It's really about them undertaking that research, and that's really been the core of what we've been doing. So we've done about a year on social research, understanding the kind of social parameters, who's using the wetlands, what type of people are they, how important are the wetlands in these people's livelihoods.
Mamwe mafhungo era vari chikotodo diva pa khavatu ndiauri rikutodo diva ushaka vukati ni havatu abadzulapo na maroroma.
We wanted to know the relationship or the link between the people and also wetlands, because it's also important, you know, for the villagers. They need to take care of their wetlands.
But what the monitors have also really enjoyed is learning new skills. Probably the most notable one has been around mapping, and that's been just really interesting, because we've taken quite a careful way of teaching people how to use a GPS. So this is doing proper georeference maps, and they've produced the maps, and the maps go into the national database on wetlands. And we're now moving on to research around land use, appropriate land use practices. But the key there is that they're doing the research, they're analysing the data with our help, and they're presenting the results. And that's what you see at this Indaba, them taking ownership of the research process. And to my knowledge, that's the first time that's been tried in South Africa.
As a West Use team as well, then we also have a vision. Our vision is to integrate or to include the community in order to protect our wetlands.
There's really a huge amount of stuff that people know, but what's interesting about it is that it's implicit. And so what's been quite exciting for people, I think, is to have people ask them and say, but everybody knows that, and then you say, no, but think about it and express it. And they've been expressing it through plays, through research, through all the research tools that we have. But you know, it's just quite interesting when you engage people in a way that shows you're interested. It gives themselves a moment of self-reflection and self-recognition. And there was a long period of just establishing trust. People are very distrustful of outsiders coming around wetlands, because the general feeling is that they're going to be asked to leave. They're going to be kicked off the wetlands.
People didn't have trust on what we are doing. Then they thought that we wanted to take their crops, their land, their fields.
I can guarantee you now, and you'll see in the Indaba, that these monitors have a very good idea now of what Working for Wetlands is doing and why it's there and why it's an important partner for them.
Because of these structures which Working for Wetlands program has built, then they enable us to make use of wetland.
One has to look at issues of governance. In communal areas, we always do try and work with the recognised leadership. In Venda, for example, where we're testing wise use, there's a very strong support from traditional leadership. So you and I might have an agreement, an unwritten, uncodified agreement on how we work together. And that's a governance system between us. And so you might well know how to use the wetlands sustainably, but what do you do if your neighbour's not doing that? And if you have no recourse and you have no one to go to say, actually there's a problem in the way our neighbour's using his or her wetland and actually you need to help us take action, then no amount of sustainable, good land use practices will really help in the long term. So we've been working in Makuya for a nearly 2-year period. The wetlands are used extensively mainly for small-scale cropping, so often called subsistence farming, but not just that. A lot of commercial farmers actually have moved into wetlands over time. So there it's a contribution to food security. And then in other ways, wetlands are used, for example, for the collection of reeds and grasses for making of mats and products for household. But wetlands also play this kind of hidden service, which is improvement of water quality, for example. So you see substantial decreases in E. coli above and below a wetland. So just by having an intact, functioning wetland, you can also have direct consequences on human health. So they play a multiple role in people's lives, often without people fully appreciating that that's what they do until they've lost them. I think probably the Indaba has been one of the most special things we've ever done. It was incredible. We didn't know how it was going to work. One of the ideas behind this particular learning is that we now upscale, to use that terminology. You know, we actually now take it out to other areas. So there are 9 provincial coordinators. We've been discussing with them the next project sites that we can go to. And we've already started those discussions, as I said, on commercial land in the Western Cape. So that'll be our next learning site.